All right, so the title of this one is Am I Being Financially Abused by My Husband? She's 35, he's 40. What's up, my brothers? Welcome back to another episode of Weird Stuff We Ask the Internet. I thought I'd hit on this one because I've got a big financial background as well. So she goes on to say, I've heard this is considered financial abuse, but I'm not sure, and he makes me feel like I'm being crazy. So I thought maybe I'd ask some objective strangers. Objective strangers on the internet. Okay, well, here's your reply, ma'am. I'm a stay-at-home mom of a toddler and an infant. We don't have the ages of the kids, but they're young. While I was pregnant with the baby, my husband's job had him relocate from Washington to California. I had a pretty good support system in Washington, and I literally don't know a single person who lives within 6 hours of me now, if that's relevant. I do 100% of the cooking, cleaning, shopping for the house, doctor's appointments, and laundry, but I honestly don't mind doing the housework. I never complain or ask for help with it, and I don't feel that I need it, okay? I would like some more help with childcare, but it's not in the budget. My husband does take the kids as much as I can expect him to, given his job and other responsibilities. My problem is that he consistently tells me that I'm spending his money, and when I'm upset about something, he tells me how good I have it, and all I do is complain when everything is paid for. He scrutinizes my spending and asks a lot of questions, doesn't give me access to the account, and seems to consider trips to Walmart or grocery store as personal spending. I've been told by my friends that this is financial abuse. Well, isn't that convenient? The friends are whispering in her ear. That's financial abuse. Don't let him get away with that. But my husband asks, why play the victim when we're supposed to be a team? Husband makes a relevant point. So, am I crazy? Am I lucky that everything vital is covered and I should just put up and shut up? Interesting. It's funny because a few days ago I saw another article where this woman was complaining that her boyfriend wasn't paying for enough things around the house. They were living together and she was like, he's not a man anymore because he's not paying for shit. And here we have a guy paying for, her lifestyle and the home and the bills and the children and all the expenses and everything. So this is one side of the story. There's always two sides of the financial story when it comes to situations like this. I always find this funny and enlightening when we try to establish what's going on here. But this is just the kind of stuff that you're going to put up with in today's world. You're not a man if you don't pay for shit. And if you pay for shit, then you're now financially abusive because there's restrictions on what you're going to pay for. So a man, in my opinion, if you're going to, retire your wife and keep her home and have her raise the children, his job is to go out and get the bacon and bring it home, and her job is to cook it up. That's what a team traditionally in this environment would look like successfully, and has been for quite a long time. It's only in recent times, in the last 50, 60 years that women were put into the workforce, paying taxes. Now we're all equal and everything. And, some would argue that we're beyond equal. Some people say that they've pushed into an area where it's quite hostile for fathers. And there's a lot of people, myself, that agree with many of those points. So is this guy being unreasonable? I don't know. Is he preventing her from going and getting her hair and her nails done and giving her an opportunity to work out and exercise so that she looks good for him and the family? I don't know. She's complaining that going to Walmart and the grocery store, that he's complaining that he has an issue with her going to Walmart and the grocery store. But that's what she's saying. I don't know. What is she buying at Walmart? Because you can buy groceries at Walmart. You can also buy a bunch of dumb shit there too. That's a waste of money. He might have a relevant point. He might be concerned that she is irresponsible with finances and needs to cap her spending and control it to some degree. I know some guys out there that have stay-at-home wives, and they have their account, and they have a joint account, and every single month they transfer X amount of dollars into the joint account, which is always more than enough to pay for groceries and laundry and toiletries and even her nails and her hair and all that sort of stuff. That's generally what I've seen work the best. I don't know how far we've gotten with this, because all we have is a whining, complaining story about how her friends are telling her that her husband is financially abusive. So she's going to the internet for a second opinion, or 1,000 different opinions, of course, because that's what you'll get. So it's difficult without talking to the dude. And it's difficult when she's got a bunch of women in her ear chirping, going, that's financial abuse, girl. No, no, no. You can take half his shit and still have the kids too, and it's like this cycle kind of goes around, and that's when it starts to get dangerous. Like, I talked about this in my book, The Unplugged Alpha. There was a time when I was actually doing some writing, and I was sitting in a Starbucks and I'm working away, and I overheard these two women clacking away about, this one woman's problem. And the one that was trying to offer some feedback and support, her solution was, well, if it doesn't work out, you can take half his shit and the kids too, and you'll be just fine. So you'll basically be in the same position without having to put up with his dumb ass, was basically what she had arrived at. So stuff like this it's risky, right? I mean, a lot of guys are just like, yeah, I want to do the right thing, and I want to go to work, and I want my wife to stay home, and I want my kids homeschooled, and I want them taken care of, and I don't want to put them in daycare. And that would be the ideal way to do it. But in today's world, if you do that and you retire your wife and keep her home and have her raise the kids and all that sort of stuff, if 7 to 10 years down the road, 12 years down the road, when the kids are mostly grown up and they're very independent and they don't need her so much, and they're in school all day sort of stuff, she could very well be sitting down beside one of her girlfriends who convinces her to, fuck it, just leave. Take half his shit, leave. You'll get the kids 80% of the time. That's basically what the stat is. And you don't need to put up with his dumb ass either. And that's when a dude like this, who had done the right thing, because they tell men and women different things. They tell dudes, you do what's right. And then they tell women, you do what's right for you, girl. So there are two different narratives that men and women get out there today. So that could expose them to potentially a ton of risk. And I think that women are never going to understand that. They're never going to understand the risk factors that men have to expose themselves to provide, bring home the money, take care of the bills and the house and the car and the gas and the insurance and all that sort of stuff. They're never gonna appreciate it. It doesn't matter how good of a dude you are. You're never ever going to be fully appreciated for the sacrifices that you're going to make for your family, for your wife, for your kids. That's the risk. So the point of this video is there's no easy, clear answer based on what we've got over here. But given that most of my audience are guys that watch my stuff, I think it's important to point to some of these uncomfortable truths about this particular dynamic, because it would be ideal in an ideal world. Actually, it is ideal, but in an ideal world, which we don't have today, it's very risky. So if I was this dude and my wife was complaining like this, I hate to say it, dude, but you'd have to walk on you're walking on eggshells. He sounds like a good guy to me, but he's obviously going to have to be very careful that he doesn't push her to the point where she's in the arms of her girlfriends drinking wine one night, getting smashed, and they convince her that she doesn't need him anymore, and him personally, but she'll still get his financial resources if she bounces, and the kids, and she can go find a new guy that will worship the ground that she walks on, because that's the story that goes around there. It's not, till death do us part, and richer and poorer, and sickness and health, and difficulties and greatness and all that sort of stuff. It's at some point you're going to end up in a scenario where there's going to be a conflict in a long-term relationship. And if you've kept your wife home to raise the kids and paid all the bills, and you want to put some restrictions on, spending, for example, if there's issues with her spending habits, that you could be exposed to risk. One of the things that we do know for sure before I wrap this up is that women have something like 80% of the spending in the economy today. So they're responsible for about 80% of the spending, but men still make the vast majority of the money. So they're bringing home the money. They're bringing home most of the money, but women do the vast majority of the spending. So I'm assuming that's probably where it lies, and he's trying to put some constraints on it. Problem is, a lot of the time women don't see that there's differences between their marriage and somebody else's marriage. And if Sally or Becky got a Range Rover and she gets to have a nanny or childcare 3 days a week, then why can't I? And why is he giving me a hard time because I got to go to Walmart and get some stuff? And I don't know, maybe she put some stuff in the buggy that isn't necessary. Maybe she doesn't. It doesn't matter at this point, because we don't have a ton of information, but what we do know is there are problems in dynamics like this. You tell me what you think. You guys ever been in a situation like this? Leave a comment below, hit the like button, pinned in the top comment. There's a bunch of useful links, my book, and all the other stuff that you might want to take a look at, including my website at richcooper.ca. See you guys later. Peace out.